Hello, and welcome to another episode. Been a little while since we did any posting. Been kind of busy with work and real life stuff. As you can see, we've got the engraving done on this. We are forging right now, getting the 7-layer billet forged out to the rough shape that we're wanting, and that's kind of where we're at today. So there'll probably be a lot of work at the press and then a little bit of work at the end. Start with Damascus. We start with a billet like this. It's several layers of different materials. One is 15 and 20 and the other one is 1075. The 1075 means it's got 0.75% carbon in it, and it'll actually contrast a little darker than the 15 and 20. The 15 and 20 has nickel in it, which makes it shiny. So whenever we dip it in the acid, it's actually going to resist the acid etch and go shinier, as you see here. And then when the 1075 will not resist the acid and actually go darker in the material, and you'll see a very strong contrast. There's a lot of evidence that I've been reading that shows that they actually didn't acid etch their pattern welds. They actually just used a little bit to kind of see the pattern, and then they hand sanded it to almost a reflective finish. So there's that. As we work the material out, you'll actually end up getting to a length like this. This is a solid piece of pattern welded material. It's for a different project. However, it's for an LEUTLRIT spatha that we're going to be doing several distinct twists later on. This was for that same project. I have this billet, which I've kept as a failure because you can see the cracks in the material here. I overheated the material and it started to break down, and then it cracked on this other side as well, which was just a failed weld. Specifically right here, you can kind of see the different layers, and actually where it ended up cracking was right along there. So pretty cool. So now what we're working on is trying to get the 7-layer pattern welded twists for the lettering drawn out to length or width, which will be about 5 millimeters wide. So as you can see, we have a really long ways to go. Now we are starting the twists. Going a little bigger than I normally would, just so I have a little bit of extra room for mistakes later on. And we're only going to be able to twist this one little tiny section at a time. One little bit at a time because I don't have a torch. Now we move up the bar to get all this up here twisted. Working on our last couple of twists. All right, Working on our last little bit here. Don't want to get it too cold, otherwise you'll twist it apart, kind of ruin it. So, all right, so as you can see, we've got it pretty well evenly twisted throughout the whole thing. It's still really hot. I'm going to let it cool down, kind of relieve some of the stress in the material, and then I'm going to grind off all those high spots, and that should get us relatively close to where we need to be. If not, I will draw it out a little bit further to get to that length that we're going for the inlays. So before it gets lost, I need to cut the end bit off that wasn't twisted. It's where the wrench was on the material and it just didn't get twisted. So that's why we just cut that off. Without drawing it out any further and ruining the twist pattern, because the further you draw these out, the more likely you're going to stretch that twist pattern out and kind of ruin it. I'm going to clean it up and try to grind off the remaining to kind of get where we need to go, and hope that we have enough to get through it. No, you know what, I think I might try to forge it some more just to kind of get it going, try to get a little bit more out of it, and then if I have to, I'll just twist it a little bit more. I was using the press for a lot of this, but I kind of want to use a hammer for this last little bit. I feel like I have a little bit better control over it to try to get it down to that 5mm mark. All right, so got all the letters out and roughly forged into shape and put in position. This is where I failed last time. We're not nearly as thin, and the letters are a little bit better fit. There's a couple that are obviously out of place, but you get the idea. All that's left is to try to get them to forge weld into place. Wish me luck. We cranked the forge up to 20 pounds, and now we're just waiting for it to come up to temperature. Here in about 2 minutes, we're going to sprinkle some borax on there. That's what keeps everything nice and even, keeps the steel from oxidizing and preventing a good forge weld. So you can see it's getting pretty bright in there. I'm just going to let it soak for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 10. We'll see. And let that get a good, even heat throughout that blade where we're going to be forge welding. Moment of truth. Here we go. Oh, super nervous right now. Super light passes. Nothing crazy. Just trying to get the letters to initially sink in there. We're going to sprinkle it with a little bit more borax. Right back into the forge. And know you can't really see it, I'm sorry, but third pass, here we go. I am in 100% uncharted territory. I don't know. I don't honestly, hopefully, I don't honestly know what's next. Kind of just forging around and finding out. I'm gonna keep fluxing and I'm gonna try to get the letters flush with the rest of the material. All right, guys, I genuinely really think we got it forge welded in there. I'm going to lightly tap and get the blade straight again. And call that good for the day. My phone started overheating, so just wanted to get a quick look at this. Straightened the sword out just recently to get it back straight and flush. However, I didn't get those all the way set the way I wanted to. I'm going to ask a couple other smiths on how far we need to forge them in. I'm going to assume